I do know that there are people who have long distance relationships. They may meet somebody, they talk, and then eventually you move to where that person is, right? And I would agree that there are cities, especially outside of larger cities, that are, more family oriented. For example, I'm from Alabama, and it's very family oriented. It's all about family, being married. It's just like the norm. If you're not married in Montgomery, it's like, what's wrong with you? Matter of fact, they look at everybody like, girl, what's going on? Because they can't fathom, people not being married. It's like, ugh. So I do know that there are cities that they're really big on that. They are family oriented. Um, but the only thing about it is, um, I lost my train of thought. It don't matter. But anyway, yeah. So I agree with both. I don't think that you should just up and move to a place just blindly because of men. But I don't see any problem with having a long distance relationship. Maybe meet somebody, continue a long distance relationship, and then you guys have to figure things out, and then you'll move for that person. Maybe
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
sure
know.
if we got to it, but she did mention about people are not in DC, but what they do is once they get married, then then they decide to move to DC. That's something that she did mention late in that discussion, but I didn't want to play all that video, but she did mention that.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's
get you a
fair.
small town guy and move them.
I'm gonna play a little bit more video. This is where she talked about the actual main topic, removing your negative outlook on.
Hey, but before you run that though, to Shan's point. So in that case, right? Let's say you do find a guy in a small town, right? You're from the big city. What city are you from again?
I live in Atlanta.
Atlanta, right? Atlanta is fairly big. Is not I don't know if it'll be considered a major, metropolitan city or whatnot, but it is fairly big, right? Now if you, because it is kind of country still, if you
It's
if
pretty big. It's a melting pot. But go ahead.
for sure, it's not Chicago though. But
Yeah,
so
I mean,
let's
Chicago is Chicago. It's not Chicago. It's Atlanta.
right now I get it. So now let's say in that case, this you do find a guy that's from a small town
Sure.
and you're used to this faster pace, right? And this
Mhm.
guy from this small town, he's used to the slower pace of town, or just spending time. I, from what I see on social media, I don't know if I can say this, that I've seen it in person or from my own experience, but most women typically tend to get bored with that type of guy.
No, not
No,
necessarily. No. I would say most of my friends are married to boring guys. So I don't
But
find
is
that
it
to
that
be.
they're
Now
boring?
I
Is it that they're boring, or is it that they're steady and responsible?
that
Because
that's
right.
subjective
unfortunately,
too.
today we tend to kind of promote irresponsible and fast, and sort of like this. Actually, I had this conversation with women on Clubhouse at one point, and it was like, so somebody who has a steady income, no debt, pays their bills, has a 401k, has other investments, owns their own shit, vacations once or two times a year. How is that boring versus the other person who's faking it on the gram, borrowing clothes, borrowing cars, taking pictures with things that they don't even own, and they're not even investing to have a family or set themselves up for success, right? How is that exciting? You know what I'm saying? Like that sounds like struggle love to me.
Right. It's a way he's just like the unpredictable man, and that nobody wants a man who's unpredictable. So the boring wins in my what we call boring. I think that those are the best husbands, actually.
That's fair.
But it was something that I was talking about before you said that it. Oh, it was. I can't remember. I don't know. But oh, the question was so I saw somebody in the chat. The question was, well, who moves? And I think that that depends on the jobs, right? Some jobs come with certifications, meaning you can't move. You can't just you're just not free to move like that, right? You gotta be certified in whatever area. I think that that's gonna be up to you and whoever your partner is. So I think that women, when they find a really good mate, I think most women are willing to move if it makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, they're like, okay, lawyers, engineers, architects, plumbers, right? People who have licensed trades in their state, they could get reciprocal licenses or take a course or get the state where they're relocating and get a jurisdiction that still allows them to practice and do what they have to do. They're not tied to where they are geographically. 15, 20 years ago, yes, I would agree. But
I
today
would
we have
disagree. It's a little different. So, for example, let me take me as an example. I'm a teacher. Okay,
What?
let's just say I meet a guy in Atlanta. Teachers in Atlanta, after 30 years, make what incoming teachers make in Atlanta. So, and the cost of living is not that different. So I will be taking like a $50,000 pay. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It's crazy because mostly major cities will pay their teachers a decent amount. When you hear people talk about teachers, it's usually small towns. It's just so much many. It's so many more small towns than there are large towns. So there's no way I can bring home, 100 grand as a teacher in Alabama. But if he's got it like that, and he's like, you know what, don't even worry about it. I got it. We can take that pay increase. I mean, that pay cut. Sure. I mean, I trust him. But if you rely on my income, you might want to come on this way, especially if yours will change.
Well, I mean, I would say this, like there's still like I think today there is a shortage of teachers. There's a shortage of good, confident, competent teachers, right? Across the globe. And I think if you are that woman and you are that teacher, I don't see why teaching
No, pay.
online,
Oh,
you know, you
so
don't have your
no.
own courses.
Mm-mm. So to get the benefits of teaching, so the benefits of teaching is in Atlanta, we just get a great salary. But what the real benefit comes in is your retirement. And unfortunately, those remote jobs don't come with the same retirement as being in a county in a classroom. That same
Okay.
pension plan. It's like you're contracted. You're not, you're like a freelancer, so to speak. Whereas when
Okay.
you work for a county, they're invested in they invested in you. You've vested into them, and so it's like, you get the benefits of being them investing in you. You invested in them.
All right. Oh. Hmm. Well, then I guess you do have a good point. It depends on the person, that person's profession. But again, these conversations are conversations that need to be had, and I hope that people are having these conversations. You know what I'm saying, in full
What's
effect.
best for your household, right?
Yeah, of course.